Hey there, creatives, and today I want to show you a super fun way you can take your cheap markers and turn your gel press into a watercolor stamp pad. So as you can see, I'm just doodling on my gel press, and then I'm just taking a spray bottle and giving it two quick little sprays, just to kind of add some moisture to the top. Not a ton, we don't want it flowing all over our plate. And then I'm taking this acrylic stamp, and I've really found that acrylic stamps work the best for this technique. And look how gorgeous that is. Super fun, super easy, and super inexpensive because I'm literally just using some plain washable markers. You can see it does bleed through a little bit, so if you want to use this in your Bible, it definitely is less watery than if you wanted to use regular watercolors. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that ghost print gorgeous? I guess it would kind of be a ghost print. I don't know. It's the leave-in print. Is that what you want to call it? Let's try it again with some different colors. Again, I'm not being super specific with where I'm putting my colors. I'm just kind of scribbling them all around and then adding two quick little mists of water. And I'm going to try it this time with this super fun Echo Park stamp, and I am just loving it. I'm loving this technique. I actually taught this in a live in our Gel Press Faith Impressions group, so if you aren't in that, make sure you go and check it out. And even those leftover bits are still fabulous. I mean, look how gorgeous all of those prints are. So now I also, when I was doing the live, I wanted to play with some other things and some other ideas. So we're going to do the same technique. We're going to take our markers and just do some scribble. Now, of course, you can do the same technique with any other water-soluble things you might have. So if you have some nice markers or some other kinds of things, give it a try. Just remember, if you're using something water-soluble, to wet your plate first and then add your color. So I want to show you guys the difference of what using a rubber stamp. Like, this is a big, chunky rubber stamp. And you can see the water doesn't quite adhere to it, and the color doesn't quite adhere to it as well as it does on that acrylic stamp we used earlier. So, I mean, it's still cool, it's still funky, however, makes a really cool ghost print. But I want to show you guys the difference and how you can test out all these different materials. And so, again, doing my scribblies, just having fun. I'm going to test out, I thought, well, maybe it was how big the pattern was on that particular stamp that made the rubber stamp not work. So we're going to try it with this thing, and just make sure on your spray bottle that you've got it set to mist and not like the fine or like the direct kind of shoot. So you can see a smaller pattern works a little bit better. I think just the rubber in general doesn't work as well, and it doesn't give you as fine of a print as using the acrylics. Of course, got to get that last little bit up. I love it. Kind of gives you a sunrise kind of feel with that color combo. And so let's try it again. So let's try it with something different this time. This time we're actually going to try it with some foam stamps and just get an idea of what that would look like. I really wanted to test out all these different types of substrates to kind of give you an idea of what you like, what you might not like, what you're going for. I happen to have these foam stamps from Art Foamies that were brand new that I haven't even used yet. If you're interested in seeing any of my creative lives, the link to my Facebook group is actually down in the description, so feel free to jump in there. And so I'm just using it as a stamp pad, giving it a nice little press, and then stamping it. And you can see, because of the foam, it's a little less distinct, a little more feathery. And so I thought I would try this old stamp that I have that has like a little bit of a coat of old acrylic paint on it to see if that makes a difference. And you can see there that it's a kind of the same thing. I think just the foam, because of how it's made, doesn't accept the water and the colors as much as an acrylic stamp does. They're still cool. They're still pretty. All right, let's try one more thing here for you. So I have these Carabelle Studio. They're texture plates, so they're actually rubber. And so we're going to try those too. So again, we're going to give it a nice little spray of water with a little mist. You can see I spelled water wrong on my bottle. I don't know why I keep pointing that out in videos. So I'm giving it just a nice little spray. and we're going to give it a nice little press. And this actually turns out really, really great. You can definitely see that this particular kind of rubber actually picks up the water and the pigments a little bit better than the red rubber. So I think that is definitely a good option if you have some of those and you want to do this technique. So let's try a few more things. So when I was on this live, people were like, well, I wonder if this would work. I wonder if this would work. So I pulled out more stuff and I thought, hey, let's just try it. We're on a live. Let's have fun. So you know that this silicone pot holder is kind of one of my go-to fun little things. And you can see that on my marker, it's getting kind of gross. You can see it's turning green even though this is yellow. So just make sure that you have maybe a special set of markers or some cheap ones for this particular technique, because you don't want to use like the markers that you know you're going to need to keep clean and keep specific colors. So it kind of works. It works fairly well with that. I still don't feel like we're getting as crisp of an image as we are with those original acrylic stamps. And I'm just going to use this to kind of pick up some of the extras. And again, I still think the acrylic stamp is the best for doing this technique. I think it's super fun and beautiful and a great way to get just a really crispy image. So we're going to try this with, these are some cheap texture plates I found at the Dollar Tree, and they actually work surprisingly really well. I mean, look how cool that wave looks with all the different colors. And now I'm going to test it with this pattern, and look how cool that brick pattern is. Now, one thing we did kind of figure out, and while we were playing, is that the plastic by itself doesn't pick up the water and the pigment as well. We definitely found out that having that little layer of acrylic paint already existing on something slick like this, like a plastic texture plate, definitely gives you a better performance. The other one worked fairly well, it just wasn't as crisp. So I wanted to try the brick pattern, and so I did black, brown, and a little bit of red. And look how cool this turns out, guys. Is that not so bricky? I don't even know how to say it. And then just stamping it again gives it a little bit lighter, a little bit more textured. So that is the fun I had playing on our live in our Faith Impressions gel press group. I hope you guys try this out and you try to make some of these fun and gorgeous prints, turning your gel press into a watercolor stamp pad. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you next time.